Cinda, tell me a little bit about, as a business professional, you did a fair amount of travel alone in foreign countries. And I'm wondering what safety precautions might you share with my class?
I worked for 10 years for Girl Scouts of the USA and had the privilege of traveling extensively here in the US and also to a couple of international destinations. And on my own have done extensive travel as well. In the 1980s, I traveled to Japan on one occasion and to Korea on another occasion alone, and did work there in both of these countries pretty much on my own as one of the only English speaking people who were there. So I had translators with me. I had to find my way, and because I love to travel, I always tacked on some personal time in these locations beyond the work, beyond the scope of the work. In terms of safety, I always pay very close attention to being able to be comfortable in the clothes that I'm wearing, in my body, and particularly with my feet and my shoes. I think it's crucial to wear comfortable clothes and particularly comfortable shoes to be able to move easily and quickly. I try to be aware at all times of my surroundings. I pay attention to the people who are around me. I pay attention to what they're doing, how they look, whether they seem overly interested in me when I'm alone. I will say I try to be open to any opportunity that presents itself. In Japan in particular, in the early 80s when I was traveling there, and I did travel in Japan on more than one occasion by myself, took the public transportation, I took buses, the trains. I had to learn how to read characters, if you will. I do not speak Japanese. In fact, most of the places that I visit, I do not speak the language beyond English. I'm sorry to say I've never become fluent in another language. That would be ideal, to be able to speak another language. That will increase safety dramatically. But for me, I try to be open to the opportunities. And in Japan, there were many, many people who wanted to learn English. And they would come to me, somehow they can tell I'm going to be a native English speaker, and they want to learn English. This happened in Haiti as well when I've been there on my service trips. People want to learn English, and they'll come up to me to speak English. So I try to be open to that. I've had people invite me to their homes, and in Japan I would look at the person and try to decide whether this was going to be safe for me to do or not. I've sat on park benches with people. I've had lunch with strangers in other lands just because they wanted to practice their English, and I was curious about their lives. I try to do that during the daytime. I'm a little less brave going out alone at night. Oftentimes I would network with friends and relatives here to find out if they have contacts in these other places that I could network with. And oftentimes colleagues would. In Japan I had colleagues give me the contact information for people that they knew from another country. And I would contact them and ask whether we could have dinner or lunch, or if they were available to go see some site with me and give me an insider's point of view. In my experience, people love, love, love to show off where they live. And there's always something unique to be found that I wouldn't know about, even though I am an extensive researcher when I'm going to travel somewhere. I like to know, what are the highlights? What do I really want to see? What are the little known things? I figure tourist destinations are tourist destinations for a reason. There is something special there. Some of them are sort of lame, and I don't like if I don't like it, I try to minimize the time I'm there and go on to something else.
What about money, Cinda, in terms of keeping your money safe? I think and your papers that are important for travel. How do you keep those things safe while you are traveling?
Three things. I try to stay in locations that have a lockable safe in the room. I always set the combination. I always put all of my valuables, electronic, travel documents, excess money, and technology. I always leave all those things in the room. And the other thing I put in the safe would be jewelry. I do travel with some jewelry. I try to make it not super showy, but I always travel with jewelry. I love jewelry, and I'm not going to leave it all home. I will say I don't load on the jewelry like I might when I'm traveling in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Technology-wise, I do lock it up when I'm gone. I always have a lock on my suitcase, and I generally lock that every day when I'm out of the room. In terms of outside the hotel, the second thing that I pay attention to is having a very small purse that I can hold in my hand, or I use my pockets. I like to travel in clothes that are quick dry clothes. Many of them have extra pockets, and I zipper in the money and the documents. I always carry a color copy of my passport. I leave the passport in the safe in the hotel room, and I take the color copy of the passport along with my cash and any money, any other kind of thing that I'm traveling with.
Tell me about a color copy. Why that?
A color copy is as close to the real thing as you can get. And I've decided that it's much more believable when I'm traveling if anything should happen to my real passport.
Oh, good idea. Well, thank you, Cinda. Any last words of caution or of encouragement?
One other word of caution I would say, many people, my grandmother always called it her Mad Money bag. She had a little crochet bag, and now you can buy them in these quick wash things that you attach to your bra or undergarments of any kind that you're wearing. And if I am traveling somewhere and there's no locked safe available, I keep things stored in there or in a pouch around my waist underneath my clothes. It does make things a little bit more bulky, but better safe than sorry, I would say.
Thank you very much.